The title of this game essentially translates to Donkey Kong 3 The Great Counterattack, and it released in September of 1984. I will not beat around the bush with this one. I hate this game. Not in some sort of quirky way, I just genuinely despise everything about it, and it is my least favorite video game I've ever played, and dethrones original Donkey Kong 3 as the hardest game I've ever had the displeasure of beating. My Stanley hatred once again is validated. I am never touching this game again once I finish this video. In my mind, this game is much more obscure than most of the things I've played before, though part of that might just be because this wasn't on the list of games by date page in the Mario Wiki around the time I conceptualized playing every Mario game originally. As the Hudson Soft PC games are never referenced in future material, I don't believe this to be canon to the greater Mario continuity, though I do still want to talk about the story. The story itself isn't lined out directly, though, as the developers want the players to come up with an explanation of their own using the game's pre-rendered backgrounds for the levels. Some people take this as meaning there is no story overall, but I think that's a bit silly considering there's at least a general connective tissue between the stages. I will try my best to come up with a story in between talking about the gameplay. The gameplay is much more simplified compared to the arcade version. Stanley can no longer jump and will only shoot one projectile at a time. Levels can be beaten both with shooting Donkey Kong to the top or defeating all the bugs. The format of this video might be a bit disjointed because I want to talk about both playing the game and the story. These first few stages just have Donkey Kong and Stanley traveling across the country, with this being Stanley's counterattack against Donkey Kong after he attacked his greenhouse. The main enemy of this game is the Buzzbees, who now have 2 health and turn into Super Bees when hurt. No real challenge in this game and only enemy to shoot arrows. Creepies appear in the sky with little jetpacks solely to act as obstacles and will never go to the bottom of the screen to hurt Stanley. If you kill a whole line of the Buzzbees at once, it spawns a little flag on the screen which gives 1,000 bonus points if you shoot it. This game is split into 20 levels and sets of 5 which each introduce new obstacles. The Super Bee sprite reminds me of Bad Omen from Minecraft. The game's plot goes insane at level 4, which introduces completely random aliens which abduct Stanley and Donkey Kong and begin taking them on a grand tour of the universe while they continue to fight. The bonus stages are just a bunch of bugs to kill for extra score. You can't die in these. Level 6 adds Beespies, which turn into attackers when shot. These guys basically just block shots and don't change much beyond that. The main issue with this game and why I hate it so much is just all the lag. The more enemies on screen, the more the game lags, and in later levels have so many enemies that the game can straight up not handle itself. You can't press multiple inputs at once, and there's lag in the dead space between inputs, meaning there's not a great amount of control a lot of the time. Also, each attempt takes like 30 minutes by the time you get to the end. In total, I'd say I spent about 10 hours grinding out this game, and I hated every second of it. Good to know that the asteroid belt is called the Astron belt. This mysterious planet, which is likely a moon of Saturn, is the setting for the rest of the game. It seems to be the homeworld for the aliens. Stage 11 introduces Kabutomushi or Rhinoceros Beetles. These guys only take one hit and do not really impact the way you play at all besides adding to the lag. Donkey Kong also begins throwing coconuts in a weirdly inconsistent way. These don't actually change how you play all that much, and it matters much less than it does in the original Donkey Kong 3. The background pyramids likely imply that these aliens are the ones who helped build Earth pyramids too. Stanley and Donkey Kong begin descending into a cave system, which leads into a volcano. As the rivals leave the cave, they end up in a big domed alien city. You'll notice they continue to try and kill each other without a care in the world of where they travel to. Donkey Kong's hatred of Stanley here is only dwarfed by my own. Stage 16 is a bunch of Nazca lines, once again a hint towards these aliens being the source of those on Earth. The final enemy introduced is the butterflies, which are the only enemy which will really give any trouble besides the Buzzbees. Even then, these guys are only a problem because they're a bit erratic, but will still die with one shot. This is the point in the game where it gets very difficult, and I had to reset if I was missing more than one life by this point. The two end up on an alien runway, and seem to be causing a bit of a stir with the aliens with their battle, which you'll see in the very next stage. So the aliens tried to nuke them, but didn't succeed. What a shame. By the way, this is the very first mushroom in the franchise. Hudson Soft is great at foreshadowing. I don't know if there's anything to say about the sunset here. Stage 20 is the final stage, and is set in a futuristic alien city. The rings in the background are why I'm saying this is probably on moon of Saturn, maybe Titan or something. This stage is absolutely miserable because there's like a 70% chance that the game bugs out and the enemies start literally teleporting erratically between multiple attack patterns. As far as I know, this is the only stage where this happens, and it might not seem like a big deal, but imagine, if you will, playing for 35 minutes and being at the very final stage of the game, so close to beating it, then the game starts cheating and an enemy teleports into you, wasting all that time, multiple times. I hate this game, though I'm very glad that the glitch happened in my winning playthrough so I could show it off. I cannot describe the relief I felt when I beat this stage. I end up messing up this bonus stage unfortunately, but I do have footage of me getting the bonus with save states. To be clear, I did beat the actual 20 levels without them. The rest of the game just loops over and over again, but Donkey Kong throws coconuts at the beginning and bonus stage timers are lower. Here's the final bonus stage being beaten properly. Here's what Here's what happens if you let Donkey Kong reach the bottom. If you want my overall opinion on this game described with one single image, here you go. Thank you, Bones. You're a national hero.